Grand Rising, everyone. It's Shay Seeking. Welcome back to the channel. I'll be your host here for however long you want to listen. So I know I've already done something on Genesis, but sometimes the word just rattles my brain and brings me back and forth. And I want to talk to you guys about something that I thought I saw in Ezekiel, but then as I was looking at that, I just wanted to leave a little like micro-sized. I wanted to start doing these random micro-sized studies or whatever. Okay, so just because it might be a little too heavy when I do the videos for everybody that's just coming into this, they might just not even want to try to grasp onto it because it might be all over the place. And I just wanted to kind of just like bring something back to like an everyday, easy way to study. So I was just going to bring you along so we can do one scripture, and then I'll randomly, I know I won't ever make it through the whole entire Bible, but just so you can get a take on what I'm looking at. And I like to always start back in the beginning, even though I did thorough studies on it as to what I'm seeing when I'm looking at this word. I just want to do one where everybody can feel like they can kind of start, everybody that's in a correct and proper mindset can start to, that has been peeling off and shedding all of this dogma and all of this religion, but you still think that there's something there in the word that can maybe help you see something that you may have never seen before. So let's just go ahead and on this one. I'll just start with the first one because if you start there, then you have a basis for the alternative way that we're looking at the word on this channel, because we combine his story and the biblical word to find out what we're really talking about. And we've been able to uncover a couple of things on this channel doing it that way. And it is a very, it's not your regular, or like I say, it's not your mama's Bible study, the watered down version that they're going to get in church. This goes in depth. And then you start to connect and reconnect to, I don't know what, but you will see if this ends up happening to you as you study with a new mindset. Okay, so this is an old Bible, I guess, translated from the Vulgate, uh, and it's a copy, I think, from 1817. And I was looking for a certain date, and this came up, and I just thought that I wanted to start with this version. So, and I may go ahead, and since this will be a small but kind of thorough one so that we can get this message through, I will open up my parallel Bible with the Living Bible and the King James Bible, and I'll just go to the same verse so that since it's so short, we can go ahead and see the comparisons, okay? Because people think that since there's so many various different versions of the Bible, that means that it is fake. And I thought that too, until I started to see that if you start to kind of read all of them, you can kind of get a better understanding of what's being said here. So the introduction for this book is so called, I'm guessing that's a C. It kind of looks like an E, but this book is so called, and we all know when so called is being said. That's funny that they were using this term back then, but when I use the term so called, it's like somebody is calling it this, but it's not actually, or it can be so called, but that doesn't mean it is. And again, I'm not here to tell you what it is, what it ain't. I'm just telling you what it looks like to me. So let's see. So it says this book is so called from its treating, okay, treating. And when I read that term treating, it reminds me of treaty. But I'm not saying that that's what we're saying, but because I know that these things are in the Bible, I'm also having my eyes open for little things like that, because there's laws in here, there's treaties, the ones that we're talking about during, and I'm not talking about, I can put it in a mindset where we're talking about history that wasn't that long ago. Okay. So we could very well possibly be talking about things that were occurring during real life so-called slavery in the Americas. We may possibly be talking about um, things that happened from the year or the 1000th century, maybe that's how you can say it, all the way on to um, the 1700s and then some. Okay. So you will have to stick with me or go back to some of my other videos to see exactly what I'm talking about. But let's just go with this for now. Okay. So it says the treating of the generations that is of creation. So if there's a generation, then there's already we're probably talking about, you have Genesis, you know, genera. Well, I was thinking generosity or whatever, but that's not going to be one that I'm using. But uh, we're basically talking about the gene, okay? So that is of the creation and the beginning of the world. Now, in the beginning of the world, one may say again that the world was just this empty thing and God started hanging stuff up in the sky and doing all this other stuff, that it just doesn't make sense. We're here to bring things back to a tangible reality, real life source, okay? Something that you can actually work with here on this realm. So, I don't think that even if there was papers that someone found when they did the Bible in 1611, if we were really talking about the beginning of time when the earth was there already, and the earth just means the aboriginal peoples or the first peoples, not their first people. See, because this is where we're getting confused. This is somebody's beginning, right? This is the beginning of the colonization and the seeding and the things that were going on in certain lands. I believe we're talking about the Americas at this point. Um, okay. We could be talking about other places earlier on, but I know when we get around the fifth day that we're talking about that. Okay. Like they would actually talk about it in history, but we're using different terminology to flip the script. Okay. So again, that's his world. Okay. This is the world where now we have these caste systems, or we have these like I always talk about the have and the have nots, and where we have these ruling classes, and then you have your slave, perpetual slave. And nowadays we don't even realize that legally binding with these documents that we sign, such as birth certificates and social, we don't understand that this is a mark for you. This is just your number, the number of a man. This is your mark of the beast. These are the things that they have over you, that you unknowingly sign yourself up and your children up to, that keep us in bondage. Okay, so at this point in time, everyone, and it could have been even that way from the beginning of time, but they gave you the perception that it's only one race, and that's the one they need to keep down the most, because in this land, those were the original or aboriginal people that were here prior to 1492 and anything else that they did. And they have been reclassified as other names, such as maybe Black or African American, and this is why everybody can come here and go on top and you stay at the bottom. Okay, so it's a caste system. It's not really about your color. Okay, although media, propaganda, and the tools that they use, such as the school textbooks and all these things to program us, and the pictures in the Bible that they've put in, and things like this, are to give you a different perception of who you are and who somebody else is. So at the end of the day, I know there's this racial thing going on, but we all have been deceived. Okay, so it's not the same way you've been given a perception to look at yourself in a way. Other people have been given a perception to look at themselves in do you see what I'm saying? Same with us, looking at other people. So I don't really call it prejudice. I just say it is mind control. They have been programming us from the beginning. Okay, and it's in order to benefit them. Okay, so again, the Hebrews, okay, so this is their world that they're forming. When we're talking about Genesis chapter 1, there was already, when we're talking about the earth, see, okay, let's just go in. I'll explain to you when we get there. So, okay, so the beginning of the world, okay, and this is the world that they created on top of a world that was already there, okay? And they're going to brag about it and tell you about how they did it using different terminology to trip you up, okay? And this is why we like to use etymology, because it's kind of like non-biased. It just tells you about the original term, ways that it was used up until a certain time, okay? Unlike a concordance would be kind of biased because it's more used with the Bible, and a dictionary is used to program children in school. Do you see what I'm saying? So the etymology is something different that I never even had heard of when I was in school. It wasn't until I'm adult that I went into looking at it, okay? So it contains not only the history of the creation of the world, so again, not only of the creation of the world, okay, but also an account of its progress. See what I'm saying? During the space of the 2,369 years, that is until the death of Joseph. Wow. So I guess until the death of Joseph. I never really read that kind of notation at the top of it about that, but I mean, I guess it's kind of cool to look at that, and also kind of maybe play with that number a little bit later on. Okay, so there you go. So now it says God created. Let me try to make this a little bit bigger. Okay, chapter 1. So it says God created heaven. Okay, now we know by looking at etymology that heaven is just the place of God, or his throne, or the house of God. Okay, and the earth can be pertaining to, mainly when we're talking about back at this point in time, is pertaining to inhabitants of a land. It's in my eyes, that's mainly, you can go look at it on your own in etymology. Again, this is why I'm not here to tell you anything. I'm just sharing my experience with you, to help some of us that might be kind of stuck in a way where we don't understand what's going on, why this is saying this to us, but it is saying it, okay? And you feel like you just need to spread the word and share the content, whatnot, okay? So that you can kind of wake up as many people as you can, basically. So, okay. Because it's not about getting a general sheep mentality, herd mentality, uh, understanding. It is to get. It's something that you have to go within to find that will lead you someplace. Okay, you have to start with you. That's why I don't like this whole thing about leaders and leaders, especially then they break them into black leaders. There's no such thing when we're saying it as white leaders, but one may say that they always have had these people, okay? But for some reason, they have to try to separate it when it comes to other people. And it's just to cause friction. It's to cause division. Divide and conquer is the name of the game. So in this case, I believe from the researching these words, even in the concordance when it comes to the earth, it said it is sometimes speaking of the inhabitants, okay? So it's just like indigenous people are people that have sprung from the earth, meaning that they took the gene. This is where we're at in Genesis, okay? Genealogy. They took the gene of the trees, the oldest trees that were planted already in those gardens, and they branched off and made their own creation. This is their creation story, okay? Okay? So it says, but again, you have your heavenly realm, which I would call the government, and anything that you would think commingles or coincides with that. Okay. Judicial system, all this stuff. Okay. This is, they even use the stars or the entertainers to create these things and manipulate the minds. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So God created heaven and earth and all things therein. Excuse me. Things therein in 6 days. Okay. So everybody say he created in 7 days, and this is beautiful. Because this is what I try to push through. This is what I try to push through on that Genesis thing that I did a while back. That we keep saying that he created everything in 7 days, but no, he was already done in 6. So on this channel, if you're going with the timeline and the theory that we're using, that means that by the 1600s, he was done doing what he was doing and he could rest. Okay. And then that reminds me of the 1611 version of the Bible. You dig? So are we in the sixth day when we're talking about the 1600s? Okay. So, and then you remember that in chapter 2, the Lord God came along and started to create a man, and he took the dust and some people say slime or whatever of the earth, okay, and he formed him a man, okay, and he placed that man in the garden to preside there. And that's exactly what your president does in the east of the garden if you look at the Americas as a garden. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep going. So in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. Okay, earth is kind of like one of the terms that they use in the concordance. Okay, so again, there's going to be the heavens and the bloodlines that rule, and no one is you're not picking your president. You're just basically selecting from the group of people that they have allowed to give you the perception that they're going to do something for. So whoever works best, and this has to do with bloodlines and royalty, so-called royalty, okay, and rulership from the test of time. They've just changed the names and given you a little bit of freedom to fatten up their pockets by shopping and being consumers and indulging in certain things and trying to keep up with the Joneses, which is the people that they put in front of you, like these Dashians and all these other people that they place in front of you, and you're always trying to get there. And if not, you feel like somebody that's left behind. And so it makes most people try to go ahead and just, even if they want to fall back, they go ahead and try to keep up with the Joneses in some kind of form or fashion. For me, I've left it all alone, so there's no need for me to I just can't look at it anymore. It disgusts me, basically. Okay, so he created that, and then it says okay, let me slow down. And the earth was void and empty. Okay, so the earth was void and empty. Okay, I have a lot of stuff going on up here, y'all, because I'm just into a lot of things today. I'm just getting back in my mojo, and I'm trying to get back in the groove of things. So let's just see if we can. I just like to do a very thorough, even if it takes 30 minutes per thing on a scripture. Sometimes this is how it is for me in real life when I'm doing my studies. Okay. Void. Unfilled. Okay. Space. A gap. Meaning absolutely empty space. Vacuum. Is from 1727. Again, this says the 1610. So are we in the sixth day here? And then when they started to use the term, okay, and then now it says, or absolute empty space vacuum is from, let's see, 1727. Are we in the seventh day? So void, the verb, that was the noun, and these are just related entries or whatever. So void, to clear some place of something. Now, we're supposed to be later on in Genesis replenishing the earth. That means taking what you have or taking what's there and redoing it in a sense. Okay, we can go deeper into that one, but I've already done it. You just these are words you can write down and go look at them after so you can see what I'm saying. Okay, so to clear a place of, so it said to replenish the earth. Now, if we're talking about replenishing the earth, and we're talking about the people in Americas from all the way, now the Americas and her islands includes the islands, Mexico, South America, Canada, America. So we're saying that this land was filled with copper colored, dark skin, brown, tan, caramel color, mahogany colored races with straight hair, wavy hair, curly hair, afro hair from the beginning of time before anyone came here, so-called, with their voyages and with their crusades and with their pilgrimage and with their, do you see what I'm saying? Okay. So, and I'm not going to say that there wasn't other people here too. I'm just saying that it was filled with those people. So why on earth would they go? You see, they had to hide this so that you can fall for the okey doke of the whole transatlantic slave trade. Okay. Um, and just like I heard this girl, I think on the Roland Martin, I can't stand people. Well, I just can't stand some of the stuff that they spew because it's all deception to me, or else you wouldn't even be able to speak at all. Okay, so, uh, but there was a girl on there, and I guess she was trying to explain something, and she was trying to debunk the Candace Owens or whatever her name is that was on that Black Summit. But again, she said when the transatlantic slave happened, and they were going along the coast of when it was occurring along the coast of the Americas, South America, in the Caribbeans or the islands or something. And I'm just saying, think of it more along the lines of that, taking people from the Carolinas, placing them, so just think about it like that, okay? Instead of what they told you about going all the way. It's already been debunked. It just couldn't have happened. They didn't have enough ships. They didn't have enough time. With hurricane season, it just would have never happened the way that they say it did. So we just fell for the okey doke because we are the people, the real heirs of this land, and they have had something over us in order to deceive us and removed all of our stuff. So think about all these stories in the Bible when they're talking about this, okay? This is what happened. This is why you don't know. This is why you don't remember. This is why you're the only people without a nationality. This is, you see what I'm saying? You're the only ones that can't, you've been here all this time, you still can't get up. It's not the regular everyday people around you of different hues of colors. It's the people that have. And you have not been told the truth. Okay? So to clear some place of something, 1300s. Again, are we in the third day? You would have to wait till we get there or go back on your own and look at what we're talking about in the third day. And measure that up in a short seat, because it's just a short, brief explanation. And then the Bible goes more deeper into what was going on. Okay? So it says to empty, to drain, to abandon, to evacuate. And now when we say that Martin Luther King, when he woke up right before he passed away, was saying the Negro is in exile in his own land. Okay? And then he said before the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth, we was already here. He said other terms that let you know that you were here. Malcolm X, you are the Aborigines, but you don't like to be called Aborigines. Everybody should have looked up that term in the dictionary and in etymology to see exactly what that means. Okay, they've given you the perception that the only Aborigines are the ones over in Australia. Okay, but again, okay, to void, okay, meaning to deprive something of legal validity. That's exactly what's been done to you. It has nothing to do with your race. It has something to do with who you are, who you descend from. And see, that's what we're doing. We're turning around so that we can ascend, okay? And our future children can ascend, because if we don't pay attention right now, I don't know what to tell you is going to happen. So that's why it's very important for me to not even debunk, but unchain the mind, to unearth something in the people, okay, as it's been done for me, okay? And I'm not all the way there. I'm always a student, never a teacher. And I'm never claiming to know everything. I'm just bringing up information, and I hope that it just rings a bell with somebody, and so that I can maybe connect with other people that are seeing these things this way, okay? Meaning to deprive something of legal validity, okay? So in the 14th century, so again, are we in the fourth day? Void, unoccupied, vacant, okay? This is the adjective, okay? And this says in the 13th century, I'm guessing. Empty, vast, wide, hollow, okay? Wide, hollow, uncultivated. Again, the whole flooding, the irrigation, the seeding, the planting, all of this other stuff, these terms that we can be using, again, it was uncultivated, meaning no one was there to till the ground, right? So no one there to break it up. Fake spies and scouts and different people that were planted to cause chaos and to, start breaking up that thing that you had, that unity that you had, that we've never been able to get that again, right? So again, that's the way I'm thinking of it, okay? Okay, so uncultivated. And then it's so funny, we're talking about culture and cult. I don't know, words just resonate with me a little bit differently, but fallow, opening, whole, lost, okay, vacant, unoccupied. By who? By the government. See, they were not here yet, okay? So the thing is, even in the 1700s, 1775, things, the military was here already, but there was no one here to reign on the land. And you think we're talking about some rain falling in Genesis. Rainfall like water out of the sky, like precipitation, and we're not. We're talking about someone with rain, okay? Again, who was all trying to get over here? Who was all sending people over here to scope out the land, to, you do what I'm saying? To kill and rape and put, pay $5 to get into tribes, and do you see what I'm saying? Foreigners, the aliens, the immigrants, all of these people, they needed to get that in there so that they can start breaking it up. Because once that start to happen, then it causes, like I said, division. It causes somebody to say the wrong thing to get into the ear of the king. A woman that may not have the right mind, but she is something forbidden fruit, or something that was not supposed to be, or something that is what they call like passion fruit or something. We don't know what happened, but I'm just trying to tell you that we do know that breeding and race mixing and things like that were happening. Okay, and they want to make you think there was no empires here prior to, and that's a lie. That we were all just in trees and in the woods and stuff, and that is a lie. Okay, most of these buildings that they have in your local cities, like post office and stuff, these beautiful, I love architecture too, and I've always been fascinated by some of these buildings. These are the buildings that more than likely were left over from the rulership, that these people just took over, okay, of the people that were already here, okay. So it says, meaning to deprive something, okay, we already did that. Let's see, from the root, to leave, abandon, give out, meaning lacking, wanting. Lacking or wanting. Wanting what? Something is recorded from the 15th. So legal validity. So again, you see the legislature and the whole thing going on right here just by using those terms. Okay. So, sorry, let's get back to this. Okay. Okay. So then it says, and empty. Okay. So it was empty. I would like to look that one up, but I'm not. But you can probably attest to what that's usually. Nah, no, we can't. Let's just glance. I just want to be very thorough so people can know I'm not just talking out the side of my neck. Okay, an empty thing or was or is expected to, and I will be proven wrong several times. But I'm going to let you know that I feel like, okay, I misled, or maybe not misled. I just spoke without all the information yet, and yeah, I believe this now or something, or see, I thought it was leading me to this, but actually it's not. So, I'm not afraid to do that. So, an empty thing, those are learning experiences for me. So that was or is expected to be full. So it was expected to. So, and an empty thing that was or is expected to be full. So it was already empty, and now they expect to fill it with something. Is that herb yielding seed? Mm-hmm. Okay, so 1865, this is a lot. Oh my goodness, we need to go back to the 1800s, honey, because I've been looking at a lot of stuff. Now, I think what they're going to do is try to use this 1800 stuff with all the stuff we're finding out about these black Republicans and all this stuff. I think they're going to try to use that, but I think that those may be people that look like you, okay, that have been waiting in their line to be able to kind of feed you this information, and they're going to make you think that that's the end all, but we need to look past that. Okay, take the information in, but then go ahead and take it and go back a little bit further, and you'll be surprised what you find. Okay, from empty at first of barges, freight cars, mail pouches, whatnot. 1520s, empty, replacing, emptying. Okay, empty, old English, at leisure, not occupied, unmarried. Again. Here we are, closest to the beginning, because we're talking about maybe the 12th century. Are we in the second day? At leisure, not occupied, unmarried. When we're talking about husbandmen, and when we're talking about marriages and sons and daughters and all this stuff in the Bible, we are not literally talking about, just like I think in Ezekiel, it says something about these were the this person bear this person. And so now I want to go into bear and bore. Matter of fact, I forgot about that because I always wonder, how are these men bearing anything? I mean, you could say, oh, that meant their wife or whatever, but that doesn't make any sense to me unless we're talking about some transgender or androgynous beings that were able to do so, or we must be talking about, which is not impossible because I'm finding a lot of clues leading to that in this book too. So it's not impossible, but then again, it said that this was the son of this person who he bore, who was found in the, I think it was, who was found grazing on something in the wasteland. So then he didn't birth this, but we're not trying to say that. We're trying to say he bore him. That may just mean that that is his property now. What were so-called slaves, property. If a governor was governing a place and they were doing censuses in the 1700s, again, which could be the seventh day, what are we really talking about here? Okay? Okay, just like you have to get your driver's license for the city, the county, and the state that you're in. Again, so who are you a child of today? If we wanted to put it in terms today, I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of looking at the system because the system hasn't changed much. Okay, it's just more confusing the way that they have it. Okay, and what's done behind closed doors is not brought up front. They just give you the perception that you think you know what some of this stuff is, and it's so complex that no one person will ever be able to break down what we really signed ourselves up for. Okay, so let's see. What is this? Wait a minute. Empty, emptin, from Old English, Guiamingian. I don't know. I was just I was thinking amalgamation, but that's not what that's saying. So unmarried again. This means that when we're talking about when a man, I mean, when a child or a man will leave the his mother and father and cleave onto his wife. So when these people were, let's look at it like this, okay? I know they've given you the perception that we do these things when we do these rituals or these weddings or whatever. And yes, I'm married, but I wish I would have knew some of the things I know now when back then. And that's where I'll just leave that. Because there's other things that happen when you get a marriage certificate and you fill out this form that you don't understand what you're doing is giving somebody more right than you think to you and your children and more rule over you. Okay, why do we have to go there and fill out these papers and do all these other things just to get married? Okay, you know, and then marriage is ending, and we think it's something wrong with us because marriages end and divorce all the time and stuff. I don't think that we were ever supposed to be. We won't go there. So it was unmarried. Also containing nothing, unoccupied. Okay, and they'll make you think that. Okay, but the earth was there, and if the earth is the oldest people in some of this text, then we could possibly just be talking about that. So basically, they just whisk that under the thing, try to act like it just didn't exist. And here's our creation. We'll start here. Kind of like here's our history. We'll start here. Or his story. We'll start here. Okay? So think of it as the people that were sent here from Britain and other places in the world to get certain spots in the heavens or in the house of God or in the government seats and stuff like this. Okay? Okay, so think about that, them leaving their land, their father, the kings or whatever, and coming over here. And some of them also, there's different ways that this happened. Some of them were already born here. After they sent those here and established their government, then they were able to infiltrate family trees that had wealth. Okay, then you have your foot on the ground here with your next seed, okay, by breeding with these people, okay. The original Aborigines of this land, who were mostly likely 100% possibly so-called what you would call a black person today or a darker skinned people today, okay. So or an American Indian, okay. So then you think of it like that. Then now you have 1 foot on the ground here, 1 foot on the ground there. Okay, and then you have some people that came in, took over certain tribes, and placed their people in uh, control of said tribes. So now the rest of those children will be fathered by a foreigner. Okay, let's follow me here. Also, the same thing was done from here. They took rulership from here and took it to other places too. Okay, um, learned the ways, sent people back that didn't even know that these were their people in order to use them to attack or harm their people. Dirty work. Okay, so think of it more along the lines of that. Your wife would be your gift. I was just reading something about King Henry II and the Sixth and Philip and how they were granted or gifted. I think I'm going to do something later on the gifts that was given. Okay, and this is lands. When you look at those old things like Mary Queen of Scots, and people were looking for, well, what would you like in return for your journey or your whatever? Oh, I want this manor, or I want this land, or that. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to tell you. When we're talking about married, think more along the lines of that. Okay, join together. Okay, also containing nothing unoccupied, leisure. Okay, let's see, ability, leisure, sense of evolution from, okay, to contain nothing occupied. Okay, so empty, originally freedom from fear. Again, fear mongering is horrible. Anything that has something to do with fear or fearing this or fearing that, even if they say fear God, that's not me. The more I stop giving up that fear and that dogma and that those religious aspects, the more freer and the more gifted in the way that I'm thinking I feel like I am. Okay, so let's see. A sense of evolution. Again, what was evolution really? Okay, at leisure to containing nothing occupied in several. Okay, so again, see, and I knew if I did this, it was going to end up being longer. Originally, freedom of fear. Okay, whatever. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and look at this a little bit deeper if you want. Um, yeah, you can go ahead and look at that a little bit deeper if you want. So let's see. Okay, in darkness. I'm being brought back to the dark ages, but I don't necessarily think that may be. I mean, I have to line it up to see if that's actually what we would call this time. I don't know. But again, was the dark ages called that because of something, or was it called that because of what the people looked like that were ruling? Because now we're getting to the 1800s, and there's a lot of people that were fearing that so-called darker view people, which is not even about the skin color, it's about who their ancestors were, okay, would be ruling over people, and they were fearful of this. Okay, and this is how they also cause division and cause certain people to go against certain people. Okay, that doesn't justify what happened, but I'm just telling you. Okay, same way that they can flip the script on somebody right now today. I think Malcolm said that best, that the media can be a tricky thing. It can make those who are basically speaking truth look like they're speaking lies, or those who, it can do whatever. So just be cautious of that with these false flags and these staged events that occur. Um, okay, was on the face of the deep. Okay, so, and the Spirit of God moved over the waters. So, darkness was on the face of the deep. Let's see. Dark, Anglo-Saxon, darkness, sinful wickedness. See what I'm saying? From 14th century. Are we in the fourth day? Obscurity, secrecy, concealment, blindness. Okay, let's see. I'm pretty sure I usually find good stuff in here. Murkiness. I usually find some really good stuff. Darkies, darkness. Matter of fact, I have a picture. What did this say? Wait, it says Danish something. I have a picture I want to show you guys in a second. Old English deep water, especially the sea. cognate with whatever, darkness, okay, far down, okay, deep, uh, having considerable extension downward, okay, that's what I'm saying, descendants, especially in measured in, okay, so Danish, German, okay, let's see, Slavic, world, okay, so let's see, via sense development from the bottom to the foundation, or this is also called the firmament, to earth, meaning the people, the original people, to world, to the one that they created around you or on top of you. Downward in front, also of color, grave, because that's what had to happen to you in order for all these people to come in and get over you. You had to die legally. Okay, you ever heard anybody use that term? Black is dead by law. A person's saga sees pertaining, penetrating mind, closely involved, advanced. Okay. Okay, so you can also look at that a little bit deeper. I'm going to show you guys this picture, and then we're going to get out of here. And the Spirit of God was moving over the waters. Okay, so let's do Spirit. Oh, this is a long one. So you guys can look at this on your own. But let's just glance through. Okay, old, E-Spirit, Spirit. The more I do this, the more, it kind of goes a little bit deeper too. The spirit, the soul, look at that. A lot of people think that that's where we start. But I'm just saying, what is it really pertaining to? A breathing, respiratory of the wind. Ain't that kind of like the sails of a ship on the face of the deep? Breath, the breath of God. Ain't that something too? Like, you see what I'm saying? Hence, inspiration, breath of life. That's what the Lord God did. I think He breathed the breath of life into the man. Okay, the vigor of what? The vigor of Christ. The vigor even make me think of the whole thing with the dark crystal that I was trying to, let you guys in on. Okay, respiration of the wind. Okay, breath of life, hence life. And that's how they gave life to everybody else but you. And this is why you're still on the bottom today. Pride, ignorance, breathe, to blow, Slavic, let's see, meaning, spirit, supernatural, immaterial, creature. A creature is just a creation, something that was created, okay? Angel, demon, whatever, alchemy, just picking out a couple things. Divine substance, divine mind, again, okay, freedom of choice, again. You can choose to still participate in these antics, or you can remove yourself as much as possible. Okay? From 14th century, divine substance, divine mind, God, also Christ, his divine nature. Christ or his divine nature. Okay? The nature of a man. And this is what I'm saying. The Christos been in you the whole time. You keep on worshiping them idols that don't, I think it said something about foolish, worshiping these idols that don't breathe and don't do these other things. Okay, but they'll make it breathe. And that's when they made these movies and all this other stuff in order to, kind of reel it in for people. Okay, the Holy Ghost divine power. Again, it's a divine power, extension of divine power to man, inspiration, charismatic power. This if it's I feel like I'm on my way there. Will I ever get there? I don't know, but I feel whatever this is, it feel good. Especially a prophecy. Again, essentially nature. Okay, 15th century. Okay, so we can just stop there. Okay, so we're gonna stop there and look at the Spirit of God moved over the waters. Again, how did they get here? When we're talking about fish of the sea, when we're talking about these streams, these lakes, all this other stuff in here, they don't really use lakes, but rivers, stuff like that. Think about that as pertaining to how some of these people were able to get in, okay? And if these things were naturally formed or were they created, okay? Like the great whales that we talked about in the Genesis, and we found one of the whales or openings up there by Alaska almost. I don't know where the other one was, but it said well one, and it was like an opening. And if you go back in history and you go back in the Bible and you can see this in your mind, you can imagine how people were able to come in and infiltrate and get into the place and start forming their own creation. Okay. So whenever we're talking about waters, be careful what you're thinking. It's not always just talking about water flowing. It's talking about people of the waters or that system that came here that way. Okay. So again, let me just show you guys this picture real quick. Hopefully I can find it. Let's see. I just was looking at some other stuff yesterday and then pulled this up and thought it was kind of cool. I cannot believe it's 1:30. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, come on. Okay. See this guy here? I don't know, Ben Gary, I don't know, or Bun Sherry. I'm a native chief of North South Wales. Again, but remember what native means though. I can't read all of this here because it doesn't get that. I can't go in, but native just means that somebody was uh, placed there or born there. Okay, so anybody, again, if you want to just think of it in these terms in modern day or nowadays, you would think of if someone from another land came here and started to live here and maybe even made it with somebody from here. You know how they can get like a green card or they can get certain, gifted or granted certain, you know, you know what I'm trying to say, to come here and stay or whatnot. Okay. So we're thinking nationality even back when we're talking about this. But again, it doesn't say Aboriginal, okay, meaning the earliest or whatnot. So again, to be a native is just someone that has been joined with the land and they've been born there and now you are a native. So we're all natives if you were born here, basically. Okay. So there was one more thing I wanted to show you guys because I thought this was very interesting. So the caste system divides him. When I was looking at the in the beginning, he created the heavens and the earth. I had automatically started thinking about a caste system, and then here we go with this pyramid. We all look at stuff with this pyramid today when it comes to what they're doing, but let's see. I never seen this really. Anyways, the caste system divides Hindus into four mains, and so there go the four heads. And I don't know if this has four heads. I mean, I'm not saying that there's the four heads. Let me not say that because I don't know exactly. But when it says something, I think in Genesis about splitting something into four heads, you know, you know, or four. Yeah, I think it was four heads. Excuse me. So again, you have your Brahmas, your preachers. If you think any of this has changed, these have been used during the test of time in these systems, and we're just in a caste system that's just been given another name, or you've been given the impression that you have freedom. But try to leave here if you want to and go somewhere else without a passport or do something, especially now after they come out with that real ID in 2020. Um, Priests, teachers, warriors, rulers. Again, there is your military might. Okay, the shoulder. It's funny how it's the shoulder because I think over there in Ezekiel we were just talking about something about the shoulders, like the scalps are bald and the shoulders are something. I'm not sure, but that's funny because here we go. This is the head. What was it saying about the scalps or all the whatever was removed? The locks or something was removed. I don't know. You guys will see later when I go into it. And the shoulders were something. We'll see because I'm going to do something on it later. Warriors and rulers, again, the rulers are the ones that rule things. The warriors are the ones that they train, indoctrinate, and put under mind control in a certain sense in order to do these things, like fight these illegitimate wars that their children don't go to, but they choose yours to send them there. And they give you all kind of perks and go to your kids' schools and set up shop and tell them what they can get and what they can get paid for and all this other stuff. They can get paid for school and everything. All this stuff is just to get them to sign up for something that they know good and well. This is just my opinion, and I don't have anything against anyone that is in that situation that does not see things the way that I see them. But if you do, I don't see how you can do it. I just don't know. So again, even think about how they sent people over here. First, they sent the preacher, the priest, and the teachers, and the fathers, and the what do you call them? The monks and everything. Okay, to manipulate the mind. Okay, and then they use their strength. Okay, their form. This is the firmament. Okay. And the rulers tell the warriors what they're going to do, even the slaves sometimes. And then the farmers, the planters, okay, the plantations, the traders, because a lot of this stuff even started off as trade of spices and tobacco and all these other things, okay, merchants, dealers on the coast, all of the whole trading thing that was going on way before anybody came here. So I don't know why they're trying to act like they didn't know where they were going when they came here, because they had the right brown-skinned people on them. I'm trying to limit using certain terms, okay, with them that will be able to interpret and to help guide them, okay, seafarers, whatever you want to call them, okay, and then the laborers. Now, okay, now you have your farmers and stuff, but then again, think of farms as people that own cattle and chattel are two different things to me. Chattel, and we're going to use that term to talk about people. Cattle will be animals or fruits or vegetables or whatever. But again, we know that these people were planters. They were planting their seed. Those people that were seeding with a C, C-E-D-E-S, those people that were flooding, irrigating, tilling the ground, raining over it, those people, what I'm saying, these are some of the people that didn't make it into the higher ups, but they still all play a role, okay? And then the feet, okay? It's funny how we talk about the feet too, and I can't remember which chapter it is, but the laborers, okay? So then you have your laborers or your workers or whatnot, okay? Your slaves or Slavic people, maybe. And then you have your Dalits, okay, or outcasts, the street sweepers on the ground. See? Latrine cleaners. I would like to know more about that. But again, the outcast. And if you had to pick anybody that's the outcast in the Americas, this is not saying that these people are better than anybody or anything. We all here now. But we have to point out the proper things in order to get to the truth, in order to free our minds and free everybody else from the misguided, misled version of all of this truth that we've been given. So you can take it how you want, but that's where we're at. So that was all I wanted to show you guys. I bet you this video is still an hour long, but I just thought that this is like a beginner course on just breaking down and showing you how much work you actually have to put into just one scripture in order to get a better understanding. I don't know. I've never really participated in Bible study, but I doubt that this is what they're talking about there. Okay? And that's where wisdom, discernment, being connected to a higher you, being in a different mindset, breaking away from the matrix, all that stuff has to do with then gifts, the real gifts that really glorify you in your mind and your thinking and your body, soul. Everything starts to change or be circumcised, or you see. Okay. So before I keep you too long, I want to thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to go ahead and hit the thumbs up. If you want to, break up this video and share it. I know it's really long, or if you found a a key part that helps you out and you think it'll help somebody else get a better understanding, go ahead. You can give credit or you don't have to. I mean, you can just, I just want to get the word out. Okay? So, you guys, until next time, take care. And thanks for watching.